Welcome back, traders. We are just coming towards the end of the day, and just as we talked about in the Sunday video, we were looking for that failed breakout and that pullback back to levels of demand. And if you were patient today and you were careful with your size and positioning, you got that. I warned you in the video yesterday, and I'll post it down below so you can watch it. Do not be caught. Do not be one of the buyers buying the breakout at all-time highs, looking for that squeeze higher. Okay, there were lots of reasons for the market to at least have a small pullback, and there's lots more room if it really does want to give a healthy pullback. So we were very patient in the room today. The guys I trade with were extremely patient, managed to nail some of that fade on the backside, looking for the gap fill. I was very clear with what we were looking for. We were looking for a failed breakout. We were waiting for the market to show its hand, to want to roll over. We were trading ES. It had relative strength compared to NQ, so we had to be very cautious. But we got that failed breakout and we got that rollover back into the gap. And it's how I was able to make almost $1,000 on the day with very, very little work. Now, I was actually up considerably more than that. I was looking for a very good fade for a while. I left my stop break even, got taken out twice, but that's the name of the game. You've got to be in it to win it, and you've got to keep your risk reward on your side. So let's hop over right now into the trading view chart. We will cover what I was looking at today, some of the advice I gave the room, and what might be next for the SPY and ES futures. So here we go then. Here's the chart, and as you can see, I talk about this a lot. Here is the gap left overnight. So I was very, very conscious that we had gapped up here, and we had a very good chance of filling this if we could trap buyers at the highs, which is exactly what happened. I also gave some very clear indications in the room about how we needed to be very careful about the VIX, right? The VIX was still trending down. It's continuing to trend down, which is why we've got this reversal starting to take place now. So the key level for the VIX was the break below here to fill this gap, and now we're starting to get weak and roll over. And it's a bit odd really, because it's at the same time that the Dixie has had numerous attempts today to try and break out of this range. It's finally sort of done it. It's above the IB high, and it's right on that 5-day moving average. So we were creating liquidity today. I was very, very aware that today would be the creation of liquidity because we had a lack of news and we are basing at the highs. So if the market truly does want to move higher, it will need to trap shorts to use them to get higher. If it cannot trap enough shorts, it will need to pull back into levels of demand where bigger, higher time frame buyers step up and start bidding the market back up. So that's what we were looking for today. We were looking for this trap right up here. So I'm going to go down to a lower time frame now so you can see the exact plays that we managed to catch in the room. So this was a key level for me. This pre-market high was the level where I was interested if we were able to catch buyers getting trapped up towards the highs. Now, the only thing I did not particularly like was we had this right here. This flat top right here was not particularly attractive, but we were creating constant liquidity and failing off the high. Right, sellers kept stepping in, and we got this retest and the flush down. So I took this retest and flush down into the 830 level, a level of demand that I had down here lined up, and then eventually we rolled over. And as always, we talk about the use of liquidity. Okay, I teach it in the course. Here you have left shoulder, head, and right shoulder for the bear flag breakdown. It even retested underneath and gave you another opportunity to get short and attack it down into the wash. Now, it was very hard to hold the whole time for it. It was extremely choppy. As you can see, every time we broke that low of day, it soaked right back up. So for a long period, it didn't look like we were going to get there. And I will be honest with you, I was out well and before this level here. I was covering down. I was not interested in messing around the whole day because I don't need to. I made my money and I got out. I knew today would be all about building the liquidity. So going down to the 10-minute chart, I can show you that we pretty much filled the gap. And I'll tell you right here, NQ had already filled the gap. So you had to be very careful with a divergence. But we pretty much filled it and we came into this H1 order block of demand. And you will notice now the whole day we were putting in just this down channel the whole day. All right. Pushing lower, and it was trapping both sides. So if you were an impatient short seller today, if you did not understand that you could not be shorting these lows, the shorts took place up here and on the retest of VWAP, which I can show you right here. Okay, every time we were staying heavy on VWAP, you could have looked for the short and the rotation back down with some imbalances in here on a lower time frame. If you didn't do that today and you were shorting the lows expecting a move down, it means you were not looking at the higher time frame charts, because the higher time frame charts were absolutely indicating a move higher. Okay, they are still indicating that they want to move higher. The only difference is they needed the pullback leg, which I understood. Okay, so we had these levels right here that you had to be proactively covering into, and then of course the gap fill. So right now we still have a few options at hand. I'm still bullish on this chart in general. I still think we have the ability to move up. And to be honest, on the lower time frame, it has left resting liquidity up towards 4,900. So I would not be surprised if we go and clear that. However, if it doesn't, we have quite clearly on an H1 built out some nice liquidity. So you will need to wait for a retest and a fail of this for it to start moving down further into this H1 block. And it's from that point there that we are going to see some pivotal action. Either buyers are going to step in here and look for the rotational test back towards the high, and if they're unable to do that, we will turn this demand into supply and we will come down and start filling these imbalances which took place from Friday, because this right here is a ginormous squeeze. You can see from the imbalances. So I am interested if we can kind of come back down to here, hold some of these levels, wait for buyers of value to step up from the breakout point. This is the breakout point. You can see it here, 48.40 we'll call it. I'm interested in buys around that area if and when we get there. That's a much better value area for me that I'm looking at. So what am I going to be looking at tomorrow? Really, it's exactly the same play. Right now, I'm interested in, can we reprice all the way up, or are we going to make a head and shoulder or Quasimodo type pattern and start to roll over? So it's always an and or an if or statement for me. Okay, I need confluence on the trade and I need to be aware if I'm wrong what that means, what else it can do. So can it build liquidity and roll over? Are we going to pump into the close end of day and come and clean out some of these levels? Because like I said, there's equal highs left. It can come back and test this and really look for the 4,900. No problem with that at all. If it does that, then I'm really going to be looking for a pattern like this tomorrow, okay? For a breakout and push. One of those grinds where we just grind and grind and grind higher where the shorts are trapped. Those are the two options that I'll be looking at tomorrow. Don't forget, days like today where the range is tighter, where we are dancing between demand and creation of supply, you need to be locking in profits. Right now, there is no overhead supply, okay? The only supply created is this intraday supply up here. Other than that, there's absolutely nothing. So you must be very cautious intraday when looking short. You need to be proactively covering. It is the same for longs. If you are looking long here, it is still not a great price. So you need to be proactive in taking your partials into premium levels, into your Fibonacci's, into the fair value gaps and imbalances, and definitely into supply. Okay, always lock in profits, move your stop break even, be proactive in these markets when they are creating liquidity and rotating. Hopefully you had a great day. I will be back tomorrow with a review. Don't forget, you can do my course right now for just $299 using the code YouTube. I will teach you everything you need to know about the stock market and specifically about futures. And of course, you will be able to come into my room where I'll be giving you a helping hand every day, teaching you and letting you know what I'm seeing in the chart so you can start benefiting from it. Until next time, trade safe.